Before we get started, we'd like to thank Liberty Mutual Surety for sponsoring this episode of Let's Get Surety. Liberty Mutual Surety provides all your bond needs, all in one place. For more information on Liberty Mutual's breadth of surety products and solutions, visit www.libertymutualsurety.com. Now on to our show.
You're listening to Let's Get Surety. Let me hear your bonding talk with Kat Shamapande.
Hey everyone, it's Kat Shamapande. Thanks for joining us for this episode of Let's Get Surety. Today we have with us as a guest Tracy Tucker, NASBP President and President of Tucker Agency. Hey Tracy.
Hey, good morning, Kat. Thanks for having me.
We're excited to have you on and just learn a little bit more about you and teach everyone in the industry a little bit more about you as you're becoming president.
Oh, that sounds really exciting. I'm sure they can't wait to hear everything.
I'm excited about it, Tracy.
Okay.
Probably more than you are.
Yeah, probably so.
So before we dive into your presidency, why don't we talk a little bit about how you got into surety? What made you choose surety?
It was kind of a family deal. My dad was in the business. He worked here in Fort Worth, was an owner in an agency, and they handled contractors, did surety and insurance both for them. I grew up going to the office when I was a little kid on the weekends, and then going through high school and college, worked at the agency in the summertime, and then my senior year in college, last semester, I worked pretty much full time and went to class full time. After I graduated, my dad resigned from that agency, and we started Tucker Agency in June of '82.
Oh, that's exciting. So you were able to start Tucker Agency as soon as you graduated from college with your dad?
Yes, yeah. And, going through college, went to Texas Christian University, home of the Horned Frogs. Go Frogs.
I knew the Horned Frogs were going to make it in here.
Yeah. Didn't take long, did it? We did not have a big insurance program, but they have a really good business school, not anything particularly towards insurance. So they only had a couple of different classes, took those classes. So I majored in finance.
Okay.
And learned financial analysis and that sort of stuff, which played well into the surety side. And once I graduated, I really quickly grasped the idea of the percentage of completion financials and over and under billings and that sort of stuff. So
yeah,
it came really easy to me. So
well, and I would imagine going into those financials classes, already having the exposure to the surety industry that you had from working with your dad, that probably made you look at it differently than other students in the same class than you.
Well, it probably did, because I had a lot of experience back then. If you heard my speech last week, I talked about when we started the agency, we didn't have a fax machine. We did have a copy machine. So back in the old days, we would have to copy financial statements and mail them or hand drive them over to the underwriters' offices. So I spent a lot of time turning page by page of the financial statements and making photocopies. So it created a lot of familiarity with the development of a financial statement. So,
yeah, that seems like it probably would have been really helpful as you were starting out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your first job out of college was with your dad's agency. Then you started your own agency. So how long has Tucker Agency been around?
Well, Kat, thanks for asking. Tucker Agency started in 1982, just after I graduated from Texas Christian University. We've been in business, next year will be my 40th anniversary of being here at Tucker Agency. In fact, we'll have our 1-year anniversary about a month after I complete my term as NASBP president.
Once you opened up your agency, how did that go for you? How was opening your own agency?
It was stressful. I really didn't have any idea about the management or running of an agency back then. So my dad had that experience and background, so he had a better understanding of it than I did.
Yeah.
But looking back at it, he had a big base of clients that moved with us. His previous agency, they didn't have a non-compete, so they kind of split up the clients, and he took his clients with him. So we had a revenue stream projected. It wasn't like starting out ground zero, no clients, nothing. So we had a future kind of laid out, and over the years, we still do business with a handful of clients that moved over day one.
Oh, wow. Really? So they've
Yeah.
been on the books 50 years?
Yeah. So
Almost?
those guys have, perpetuated ownership to second, third generation, similar to what we're doing here. So
That's really cool that they've been with you since you started.
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of love for those guys.
Yeah. I mean, that's a really long relationship. It really demonstrates better than anything I've ever heard, any other story I've heard, the long relationships in this industry.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. So getting started off with your own agency, I'm sure you've seen the surety industry itself change a lot over this time that you've been in surety.
Yeah, and in this past 5 years, it's just been super fast. The changes, the mergers, the acquisitions.
Yeah.
So many of my agent friends in the business, they used to have their own agency and ran it the way they wanted to, but now they've sold out and have become parts of much larger regional, national, international agencies.
Yeah.
They don't control everything anymore. So it's a much different environment than what I'm living in right now.
Yeah. So as you've watched the industry change, I know that I still hear we're still using typewriters sometimes in the surety industry.
We do. We have several. I mean, if we have a chance to buy one online that's still working, I'll go ahead and buy it, because there are certain forms that we have to type on sometimes. I mean, it's just archaic and insane, but we do have obligees and different owners in Texas that you have to use this form on this pale green piece of paper.
So the paper color is even specific. I've heard that in so many instances.
Yes.
Yeah, so crazy. But so even though we're still having to do that, what kind of technological changes have you seen? Not just in surety, but also with your clients. I know there's been a lot of technological changes in construction as well.
It is amazing. We have several clients now that work off their iPad on the job site. They don't have the big rolls of plans that they all used to walk around the job site and look and point and those sort of things. It's all working off of GPS and data points and entry into the system that goes straight into their accounting system. So, some of the construction software that's available today is just absolutely amazing what it can do as far as taking your project from estimating through hard bid, through contract and contract signings, and all the way through construction. So it pulls all the drawings and everything in. So it's really changed a ton from what we used to deal with 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah, that's drastically different.
And then on our side, I mean, it's the same type of advances. When I first started, we used an internal accounting system where we had a bookkeeper in the office, and she had to punch the data into a big machine that rolled out reports and accounts, current statements, and all that sort of stuff that was mailed to the clients and everything. Now almost everything is electronic. We have data points that I can access all of our agency files from my phone.
Yeah.
I can get to our confidential files. We keep all of our clients' financials locked up in one certain file that only 3 of us here in the agency can even get to. and I can access that at lunch, having a salad somewhere, and underwriter needs to ask a question, I can access that data and ship it to them if I need to. So
That's pretty awesome.
well, I talked earlier about having to photocopy financials and deliver them. I mean, that's how we worked when I first got in the business of, driving hard copies of financials over to Dallas and meeting with the underwriters and going about it that way. So now, a client emails me a PDF of his financials. I can open it up, look at it, see what I need to see with it, and ship it off. And, that whole process can be done in a minute versus half a day of what it used to take before. And so our efficiencies are so much more advanced now than what they were 50 years ago. So
it's kind of exciting to think, because you were talking about how quickly things change now, the speed of change. It's exciting to think we've come that far in 50 years. Where are we going to be in 50 more?
I can't even imagine.
I know.
And we have a blockchain initiative that we're working on with SFAA and a couple of other groups. And I have a really hard time even grasping what blockchain is going to do to our industry. It's just beyond my thought process.
Yeah. Yeah. Blockchain, e-bonding, all of it's going to make some big changes in the industry.
So, it kind of takes me back to maybe 15, 20 years ago. SFAA was trying to create a power of attorney repository so that the bonds would be secured and they could track the bonds, and there'd be a verification type of process available. That never really ever worked out. But I think that's going to be a very easy task to accomplish once we get blockchain integrated into our processes.
Yeah, I mean, the technology's come a long way since that was attempted the last time, so that should make it a much simpler process than it would have been that many years ago.
And back then, I keep going back to the old days. I'm really showing my age now, but back then, all the surety companies, every insurance company, they had different computer programs and platforms, and none of them worked together. And with the expansion of certain programming options and things now, those programs can integrate much easier, and information can be shared on a similar platform versus 10 different platforms by the 10 surety companies. So that'll help integrate a lot of the info.
Yeah, and it just probably cuts down on error and makes things a little bit simpler as well, doesn't it?
I hope so, yeah.
Yeah. So that's, we've kind of talked about coming into surety and the surety industry. How did you get involved with NASBP once you got involved with surety?
Well, we were just a small little agency here in Fort Worth and did business with, a nice grouping of clients here, and worked with several of the larger surety companies. And one of our newer markets that came into the industry, a little company called Washington International Insurance Company. Paul Amstutz started it, and Steve Anderson was kind of his right-hand guy. And they were going through the process of hand selecting agents they wanted to work with in a market area. And I was referred to Steve by another friend. So he came down to Fort Worth. We met and talked, and he chose to do business with us. And as we got to know each other better, Steve said, "Hey, have you ever thought about joining NASBP?" And I said, "Well, my dad's old agency was a member, but I don't know that much about it. Why are you asking?" He said, "Well, it's kind of our goal that we want to do business with NASBP type of agents. And those guys are, very well respected. They run great businesses." He said, "You should really consider joining." He said, "It'd be a great opportunity for you to learn some things about how your larger competitors around the country operate and how they do business, and learn how to be a, quote, bond guy. So took that recommendation from Steve and went through the process and applied, became a member, and then started going to meetings. My involvement with NASBP really kind of started, gosh, I don't even remember how long. I kind of became part of the regional steering committee.
Oh, okay.
And the purpose of the steering committee back then was kind of to give reports of what's happening in your market area, and create thoughts and ideas for the regional meetings and those kind of things. Got drug into the fray of a conversation at an AGC annual Surety risk management conference. One of my clients had done a bunch of projects at DFW Airport, and they went through the whole process of, they take the contract, they're a construction manager, they give subcontracts to their selected subs, and they bonded most all their subs. A couple of the generals that followed them wanted to go a different route and not use bonds, and it turned into a fairly heated conversation. And at that time, Mark McCallum was the, I'm not exactly sure, maybe he was general counselor for the
At AGC.
At AGC. So Mark was there for representing AGC. Martha was there. Martha Perkins, our general counsel now, was there representing another association. So we were all there, just in different formats at the time, which is kind of ironic that we're all here together now. but it was not the smoothest, nicest conversation of back and forth. So it was really, I guess after that point, I was kind of pulled aside and said, "Hey, you need to be in government relations. You need to do this and that with the association. Would you do that?" And I said, "Yeah, I guess," because I was still really young. And so got involved, and over the years served in several committees. And then I became the regional vice president, which is now the regional director. Then became a director at large and government relations chair. So just kind of moved.
You started your journey.
I started my journey, yes, across the desert.
So now that you've kind of come through all those positions that you've held, and you're becoming president, has that changed the way you reflected on what your goals are for this year as president, or influenced the way you?
A lot of my predecessors have had really big goals and agendas and platforms. I have thought about that a lot, and really what I want to do is go back to my theme about we're better together. I want to get back to meetings, however we can do them. Since I've become president a week ago, I've had multiple conversations with Bethany already, our event coordinator, and trying to look at what we can do best to help push this along to ensure that we can have our meetings. And that is our goal, is to be set and have the meetings in San Diego and Chicago, and then the mid-year here in Fort Worth, and the annual next spring. So,
yeah, I mean, I love your theme of better together, Tracy. I mean, you started off by talking about contractor clients who've been with you since your agency opened, and are still with you.
Yeah,
I mean, you're exemplifying through your business better together, and to carry that through to the association, I think is awesome.
Well, that's always been, I guess, a major philosophical way of how we do business is relationships. So it's very important.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know you're not alone. I know a lot of us are excited to get back to being in person. It's been a tough year of remote Zoom calls and remote meetings, and we're recording this remotely now instead of in person like we would have done before the pandemic.
Yeah,
So
I wanted to say a little bit more about that in my
yeah,
incoming speech, that the things we've done over the past year, the things that Mark Mutakawa did
yeah,
to help direct our activities and events last year. I bet I've done 100 something, 500 Zoom meetings this past year. That I mean, I didn't even have it on my laptop a year ago. I didn't even
yeah,
have Zoom on there. I'm like, what is this stupid? Well, it's become a very effective communication tool that
yeah,
even beyond this, I believe that platform will survive and be utilized as a way to help mitigate costs and expenses. It's going to help us as an association keep our expenses down a little bit less
yeah,
travel. Looking back at the legislative fly-in that we did jointly with SFAA,
yeah,
that turned out amazingly well. I was very happy with every one of the meetings that I had with our various representatives and Senator Cornyn's office. Everybody, particularly the younger group, because a lot of the staffers in these offices are, late 20s, early 30s. They certainly
yeah,
embraced this type of electronic communication and everything a little bit better than us 60-year-old guys. So they were very much at ease and comfortable communicating with us. And I think all of those interviews went really, really well, and it allowed more people to participate from
yeah.
SFA and from NASBP. So we had greater attendance and that I think that just helped all the way around. So I'm really hopeful going forward, maybe next year we can find a way to integrate in-person meetings and keep the Zoom meeting or whatever format on the side to where we can have multiple participants that way as well.
So we can take the best parts of both and kind of put them together.
I hope so. That's going to be your
Yeah.
job, maybe, right?
I think so. Yeah.
All right. Well, there's one of my goals this year, Kat. So there you go.
I think I just got voluntold, Tracy.
That's how this works. Ask Matt Cashin how that works. Yeah.
Oh, shout out to Matt.
Yeah.
Well, I am so excited about this goal of Better Together. I'm excited to be back in person. I know our first in-person meeting is actually going to be in August. We've got summer Surety School, and you'll be there too, Tracy.
Yes, I will be. I need to find out exactly when I need to arrive so I can get my flights.
Exactly. But it'll be exciting to be in person again and get to have that in-person one-on-one engagement that we've been missing over the last year.
Oh, absolutely. Our association, our group of people, we're very sociable creatures.
Yeah.
We like being around each other. We like communicating. We like seeing each other. I don't know many businesses where you become such strong friends with your competitors.
Yeah.
So it's really a wonderful environment, and we all miss it. We all want to be together. So it's going to hopefully it goes really well, and the COVID numbers continue to drop, and people continue to get their vaccines.
Mo, what is it that you feel most passionate about in the surety industry?
Oh, see, that's one of those questions you could have given me ahead of time so I could think about it a little.
Oh, no, we don't do that.
So, going back, the relationships with our clients and with the underwriters that I've worked with over the years, all of those have touched me. But all of those relationships with our clients and with the underwriters
Yeah.
The friendships and relationships mean everything to me.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us, Tracy. It was very heartfelt.
Yes. You're welcome.
Well, if hopefully we'll get you back on the podcast again. Hopefully this won't be your last episode with us, Tracy. You can come back on and share some other thoughts and ideas as we move on through the year. And if anyone wants more information about those in-person meetings where we can be better together that Tracy was mentioning, we all want to see you in person at Surety School this summer and at the fall meetings and mid-year meeting this year. We cannot wait to be in person with you again.
We are very much looking forward to that.
Yes. So I think that wraps it up, but I'll include links in the description for today's podcast to all of those so you can check them out and we can all be better together.
You've been listening to Let's Get Surety, brought to you by the National Association of Surety Bond Producers. For more information about the NASBP and its members, visit nasbp.org.
Before we go, we just wanted to thank Liberty Mutual Surety again for their generous support of sponsoring this episode of Let's Get Surety. Liberty Mutual Surety provides all your bond needs all in one place. For more information on Liberty Mutual's breadth of surety products and solutions, visit www.libertymutualsurety.com.